Hi, thank you. Like Andy said, I'm Satya, I'm 13 years old, and I'm the founder of Earth Guardians Sri Lanka. I founded Earth Guardians Sri Lanka originally because of plastic. I'd seen the amount of plastic in supermarkets, and it was it was quite hard to see, and I wanted to do something about it. We found out about Earth Guardians and went through a long process and got accepted and got to start a crew here. And then after I had started the crew, I did more research and I found it was so much more than just plastic. And the ocean is a huge part of the problem and we need to make a change about it now.
Hi, my name is Aryan Singh and I'm 12 years old. I am a founding member of the Earth Guardians Sri Lanka. I decided to join Earth Guardians because before I joined, I was seeing all these environmental issues and I wasn't sure how to take action on it on my own. So I decided to help start Earth Guardians Sri Lanka.
Hi, my name's Mahasan and I'm an Earth Guardian. Like Aryan, when I found out about all these problems as an individual, I didn't have a way to take action and I discovered Earth Guardians and then I joined and thought it would be a great way to make my voice heard. Earth Guardians Sri Lanka is part of a global organization called Earth Guardians, and it's basically a group of young activists all over the world who try and solve problems or find solutions to problems in their countries.
Yeah, and the history around Earth Guardians. Earth Guardians was founded by this boy called Sutes Cartel Martinez, and his mum originally had made a school called Earth Guardians, which was an eco school, which he then turned into a organization. And like Mahasan said, there are crews all over the world, and they focus on what it's like in the place they live, and they make projects according to their environment. And we are just a small part of this amazing movement, which in all the problems are linked and they affect us all in the end. So we're trying to do our best here in Sri Lanka.
The first project we did as like a community was our plastic petition. And so basically people could vote to help stop supermarkets from using single-use plastics, or at least reduce the amount they use.
Another project we have done is the tree project, where we raised almost 1 million rupees and we are going to plant about 2,000 trees. First, we couldn't plant it because of the weather, then it was because of COVID, and then it was because we weren't sure if the trees would be safe.
And that links to one of our other projects, which is our deforestation petition, which focuses on the 700,000 hectares of forests, of other state forests that are being freed up and can be used for anything like agriculture, for homes and development. And it's a big problem because the other state forests are basically the forests that connect. There are the main forests, then the other state forests are like corridors for the animals to go through the different forests. And with if the other state forests aren't protected anymore, it could increase the amount of animal-human conflict, and there are animals that live in those forests, so it's quite bad. And we're just trying to raise as much awareness about all these topics as possible.
We have been collaborating with some other environmental organizations in Sri Lanka, as if we band together, we can make our voices heard.
If any of you all have any questions about Earth Guardians Sri Lanka, feel free to ask us now.
There is one question. My daughter wants to know how she can join you.
Oh, she can join us, contact us through our Instagram account, and then we'll add her to the group and she can get involved in our projects. That would be amazing.
Right, that would be great. Thank you.
Hi, Auntie Ed. Any other questions before we move on to the presentation?
Not a question, actually. Dr. Asha DeVos asked us to give her her excuse. She's actually not able to participate in this meeting. She was really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, she's on another project. So she said to please excuse her.
Great honor. So great honor that she was hoping to join us.
Should I continue?
Please do.
In this presentation, we are going to cover topics such as overfishing, ocean acidification, plastic pollution, and overall why the decline of the oceans has such a big impact on the environment.
Forgot to unmute myself. I'll share the presentation now, and we'll go through it. You can ask any questions at the end.
Not too difficult.
Oh, I can't.
Oh,
It's not letting me share it.
we need permission to share.
Imran, did you start the meeting? I think you might have to give them permission.
Imran, you can pause the recording and
Yeah, it's working. Thank you. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Beyond 2048, what the oceans mean for our survival. Why is the date 2048 so important? This is the date that ecologists and environmentalists have predicted for our marine life to go extinct.
If we don't choose to change our ways, there will be no more seafood and no marine life.
The oceans provide us with the air that we breathe and are a massive factor in regulating our climate. Without this intricate ecosystem, we cannot survive.
We are at war with the oceans, and if we win, we are going to lose it all, because mankind is not able to live on this planet with a dead sea. Cyril Gutch, founder of Parley for the Ocean.
Why are the ocean's wildlife populations struggling? Overfishing.
F says fishing is one of the most significant drivers of declines in ocean wildlife populations. Catching fish is not inherently bad for the ocean, except when vessels catch fish faster than stocks can replenish. This is what is meant by overfishing. Overfishing occurs only with industrial fishing rather than traditional fishing.
The positives of industrial fishing. It has created more job opportunities. The job of a fisherman has been available to more people. It is a high-paying job because fishermen risk their lives every day to catch fish. A commercial fisherman can earn around $20,000 annually. It provides a new skill set. It can also help boost the economy. The demand for seafood has been increasing in the last few decades due to the world's population increasing. Since you get more fish when commercial fishing, it can meet the demands. With more and more companies being set up for overfishing, there will be more sources of income, which results in more taxes for governments. Negatives of industrial fishing. It can cause a dent in marine life. If people overfish a particular species, then it will take a long time for that species to repopulate, or maybe that species could go extinct. It increases pollution. More fish packed for sale means potentially more packaging in the ocean. But worse, old fishing nets and equipment makes up 46% of plastic in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It can cause overpopulation of some species and further endanger species that are already scarce. This disrupts the food chain and creates imbalances in the delicate system. Overfishing could actually cause the fishing industry to crash and disappear, losing the jobs it provides and impacting coastal economies.
It can lead to the exploitation of non-fishing zones. Because fishing companies need to fulfill the growing demand for fish and other seafood, they will be forced to fish in non-fishing zones. This might end up destroying natural ecosystems and corals, which is terrible for the ocean and marine life. It can also cause a total collapse of the fish stock. Too much commercial fishing has made some seas uninhabitable to any form of marine life. As a result, fish populations have declined by 90%. If this goes unresolved, there will be no more fish and other seafood resources available.
Here are some key fishing statistics. Around 40% of fish caught is bycatch and wasted.
The demand for fish has grown 527% from 1990 to 2018.
63 to 273 million sharks are killed annually as bycatch.
In 2018, fisheries produced 94.4 million tons of fish.
Norway, Japan, and Iceland practice commercial whaling, and they kill over 100,000 whales a year.
In the last few decades, the population of key commercial fish, such as tuna and salmon, have declined by around 90%.
55% of the ocean are taken over by industrial fishing. How can you help? To stop the issue of overfishing, here are some things you can do to help out. You can help spread the word about this issue by explaining it in detail or telling people to watch a movie called Seaspiracy.
Seaspiracy is basically a documentary on Netflix, or you can watch it on YouTube, and it's about the truth about industrial fishing and like how horrible it is.
Mind you, it hits quite hard. It's quite hard to watch because it's very sad, but it's very informative and it would be useful to watch.
You can also support organizations which are trying to combat overfishing. You can support them by donating money to them to help their cause. Make smart consumer choices by eating less fish than you normally do, or you can just not eat fish at all and find alternatives. Protect reefs and corals by placing nets and signs to keep humans and fishing boats away.
Ocean acidification. The concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased due to human actions. During this time, the pH of the surface ocean waters has fallen by 0.1 pH units. This might not sound like much, but the pH scale is logarithmic. So this change represents approximately a 30% increase in acidity. The ocean absorbs about 30% of the carbon dioxide that is released in the atmosphere. As levels of atmospheric CO2 increase from human activities such as burning fossil fuels like car emissions and changing land use, for example, deforestation, the amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by the ocean also increases. When CO2 is absorbed by seawater, a series of chemical reactions occur, resulting in the increased concentration of hydrogen ions. This process has far-reaching implications for the oceans and the creatures that live there.
The pH scale runs from 0 to 14, with 7 being a neutral pH. Anything higher than 7 is alkaline, and anything lower than 7 is acidic. The pH scale is an inverse of hydrogen ion concentration, so more hydrogen ions translate to higher acidity and the lower pH. Carbon dioxide, which is naturally in the atmosphere, dissolves into seawater. Water and carbon dioxide combine to form carbonic acid, a weak acid that breaks into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions.
Because of human-driven increased levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, there is more CO2 dissolving into the ocean. The ocean's average pH before the Industrial Revolution was about 8.2, and now it is around 8.1, which is alkaline. But as the ocean continues to absorb more CO2, the pH decreases and the ocean becomes more acidic.
When the ocean becomes more acidic, it makes it an unstable environment for the marine life that lives there. The creatures that make hard shells and skeletons, like oysters and corals, are being impacted. When the pH level of the water decreases, these organisms are not able to maintain their shells, skeletons, or other calcium carbonate structures. And if it gets too low, their skeletons could even dissolve. The non-calcifying organisms also get affected by ocean acidification. Studies have shown that the decreasing pH level affects the senses of clownfish larvae, and they become unable to find a suitable home.
Even though fish do not have shells, the acidification means that their bodies have to work twice as hard to get rid of the extra acid through their gills, kidneys, and intestines. And using up this energy makes it harder to swim fast away from predators, digest food, reproduce, catch food, and even grow.
Ocean acidification is currently affecting the entire ocean, including coastal estuaries and waterways. Billions of people worldwide rely on food from the ocean as their primary source of protein. Many jobs and economies around the world depend on the fish and shellfish that live in the ocean.
What can you do to help with ocean acidification? The most effective way to limit ocean acidification is to act on climate change, implementing solutions to dramatically reduce the use of fossil fuels. If we cut our global warming emissions and we limit future warming, we can significantly reduce the harm to marine ecosystems.
Ways you can do this are to not waste energy by not leaving showers and taps running. Don't leave lights on while you are not in the room, and turn off fans when they are not needed.
Plastic. There are many ways in which plastic affects marine life. We have all seen the tragic images of whales with bellies full of plastic and turtles trapped in fishing nets.
Plastic pollution of the oceans causes animals to get tangled and often unable to escape, and also causes them to starve to death when their stomachs do not have enough space to eat anything else.
But one thing worse than this is microplastics. These are plastics that break down over time into a size that is invisible to the human eye. This plastic gets into the system of the animals and blocks their digestive tracts. It could also cause neurological damage with the toxins that it absorbs.
These microplastics tend to make fish and sea creatures behave differently. It makes them ignore the smell of their predators, it stunts their growth, and it makes them choose plastics as their primary food source instead of their regular food supply. How can you help with the plastic situation? Take your own bag to the supermarket.
Try and spread awareness about the effects of plastic on marine life.
Use your own refillable water bottle.
Use products that do not contain microbeads or other small plastics.
What do the oceans mean for our survival? From an environmental perspective, a healthy, thriving ocean is vital because
Sea plants, like Posidonia, produce 70% of the oxygen we breathe, and the deep sea waters are home to wildlife and some of the biggest creatures on Earth. Phytoplankton in the oceans absorbs around 80% of the world's carbon dioxide.
they regulate our climate by transporting heat from the equator to the poles.
We simply cannot exist in a world without our oceans. We need them. They are the primary life support system on the earth, the lungs, climate regulator, and ultimate food factory, connected deeply to each of us and nearly every economic activity that makes our world go round. Thank you.
Thank you.